right.
This can't be real. You're just trying to make a fool out of me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I like this tree. This is fun.
Wow, I like the cleanliness here.
I wouldn't normally sit here, but I wanted to get a better idea of what the downtown East Lansing area is really like. Sitting here at night, I immediately noticed an electric guitar nearby. Someone, a musician, was making this place a lot more comfortable. I was immediately attracted to it. It was a place to go, something to seek out. It's a great example of how just one person can make a place a place.
Okay, so like
The murals at the Division Street Garage are very nice. They make the place feel more pretty, more inviting, more relaxing. But it seems that they're a sign that we've already made a mistake as planners. They show that the first floor of this parking garage does not have businesses, does not have any place for residents to interact. It doesn't have a place to go, a place to be. It just pushes you away. There's nothing here but a wall.
One thing that's super interesting about this area here at MAC and Albert is that is the division point of two very different styles of urban design. Back here towards the east, there is a lot of parking garages. There is commercial, but it's broadly set back and it is not as nice as how I think it is west of MAC here. All the buildings are very close to the street. All the pedestrian corridors are very concentrated, and there's a very good sense of enclosure. Back here, kind of tapers off a couple blocks back.
So right behind me we got this plaza, which is kind of one of the main foot traffic locations of East Lansing. And while like on paper you'd kind of want it to be a central location for community and students to gather, I feel a lot of the time it's kind of just a magnet for drunk students and a lot of unhoused population. Right now it's currently noon. We just walked by and we got sucked into like a 30-minute conversation with a couple of the locals, and they were trying to convince us to buy this new restaurant, Savvy Sliders. Sure. Maybe we can still talk to the manager while we're here.
Burgers all fresh, never frozen. Our chicken fingers marinated here, hand battered. People say we got the best chicken fingers, period.
And they don't work there, but a lot of the times when you walk by, you kind of get, you know, not bothered, but you kind of encounter a lot of interesting figures, and that's true of a lot of East Lansing. There's definitely a lot of different kinds of population, and I think for some people can add to a feeling of unsafety. Not like these people were super nice, but it's a lot, and it's definitely, I can understand how a lot of people, especially in some of the alleyways or the less lit areas, it could feel very unsafe.
Okay, so this is actually one of the locations I sat at. Harper's is loaded with people at night, just absolutely loaded. As you approach like 12 a.m., people are sitting all up on this curb. I was sitting right here doing my observations thinking, dang, I'm gonna die. Just to prove how ridiculous it is that this area has no seating, I sat down at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night right here and watched the people go by. My only protection are these bicycles right here. The cars come by and they drop people off, and I sure hope I'm not hit. This area feels like the distinct edge of where the alfresco area invites you and the rest of the place pushes you away. Dave's Hot Chicken really is the edge of the inviting city. In planning, we often look at the places that work well and we try and improve them. But oftentimes, it's hard to see the places that you don't want to be because we all walk past them, even when we're looking for our weaknesses. Well, here's a location that I decided to stop at no matter what. It seemed like the least inviting place I could possibly sit. So I sat here just to prove that there's no seating in the area, that it's an extremely uncomfortable area to be. Sure, there are trees to look at, but in my face are cars constantly coming in and out to drop people off, feeling like I'm gonna be hit, feeling like I need to leave here because this architecture pushes me away, because this is not a place. This is the edge of al fresco.
Although there's clearly a lot of density here, west of Abbott, things definitely change a lot. Even though there's some tall buildings, the character of their ground floors are not as inviting, and really there's a big divide between Abbott and Valley Court Park that disconnects the entire corridor.
I'm standing here in the parking lot and it's only about 67 degrees out and it feels like it's 80 right now because it's so hot in the sun and on the asphalt. There are no cars on the street and there's just people walking pretty much on the street because there's nothing here and nothing connecting it to downtown Lansing, which we technically are in right now, but you cannot tell.
The plinths in East Lansing are one of the few things that they actually do exceptionally well, in my opinion, especially in the location that the current Albert al fresco is located on Albert Street around Mack Avenue and Abbott. And on Grand River, all the stores and business storefronts all present a really human-like person level. The awnings and the overhangs are at a really good height that make it feel lively with all the people around and condensed in a good way. That is up until Abbott Road onward, where the current gravel roads are. When you go west on Grand River, where it just suddenly stops with no warning.
On a day like today, it's very interesting to observe that places are clearly not built for bad weather days. There are some awnings on some of the buildings, so when you walk in front of them, you're sheltered, and the ground floor of the parking garages are a little bit inset, but broadly, there is not much cover to shelter you from the rain.
I think it lacks a bit, especially compared to Grand River. In Grand River, you feel a bit more safe and seen in a way, and on Albert, it's not as, I don't know, there's an eerie kind of feeling most of the time. And I think that a lot has to do with the sides of the walls and the visuals when you're there. The walls are kind of bland and you just have store after store with no signage, any type of decoration. There's no plants outside. There's not room for much of that considering the sidewalk since it's very narrow. But I think that very limits your comfortability in that area, except for at the one plaza.
One strength of the Albert al fresco area is the noise level. On Grand River Avenue, you're constantly fighting the noise of traffic just to have conversation. It either pushes you out of the area or into businesses. But on Albert Avenue, it's much easier to stay and talk.
I'll add that the cell worked, by the way.
It did. It's very heavy on the chicken. There's not a lot of lettuce, sauce, or pickles on mine. It is worth noting it did take a long time for my order to come and it wasn't crazy crowded. But I will say it does taste very good.